Hello, everyone. It's Sue here. I am so excited to share with you today the pages that I've been working on in my Interleaved journaling Bible. So, I recently found on YouTube a channel called How to Faith a Life. And I will link her channel below if you don't know of her. And I don't know how I never knew her. I don't know. But, anyways, she's very encouraging. Um, she makes Bible journaling, I don't know, just very simple. It doesn't have to be a masterpiece each and every page. The important thing is, what's in your heart. If you can maybe somehow get what you have on your mind or what's in your heart onto a page, then that's what it's really all about, right? Spending time in the Word, and how is it reflective in your life? So, let me kind of tell you what I'm doing and what I'm using, and yeah, and then I'll get into it just a bit more. So, I decided that I was going to use some of my old kits from By the Well for God. And this one is called On the Road, and it's a few years old. I don't know if they still have it or not, but I will put a link below to the By the Well for God website. And so I pulled this one out because, well, it has flowers. And I'm like, well, that's a good one to use, now that it's summer and yeah, yeah. And so what I did was, instead of really, I don't want to say struggling to find a verse to focus on, what I decided to do was to focus on two Psalms. And the reason for focusing on these Psalms, well, I'll explain it at two different times. So, right now, I'm working on Psalm 22. Psalm 22 is a psalm that they call it a messianic psalm, and it has a lot of prophecy in it. So, prophecy, not all the times, but a lot of the times, will look forward, right, into future events. And some prophecy is already fulfilled, some is partially fulfilled, and some has not been fulfilled yet. But in this particular psalm, out of the first 18 verses, there's about 14 prophecies in here looking at the betrayal and death of Jesus. So it's really chock full of really awesome information. So knowing that, and I've been studying it anyway because I'm doing a little class on it at church this coming week. And so I figured I would take that information that I learned and do a Bible page. So it's as simple as, on the right hand side of my Bible, I'm just using the mild liners made by Zebra. And are these made by Zebra? Yes, they are. And on the left side of the page, I took the watercolors that I got in this kit from By the Well for God, and I just put almost like a little speech bubble, almost, in corresponding colors to the highlighter that I used on the opposite page. And then what I did, well, I'll say this a little quickly, is so I highlighted the verse on the right, and on the left I wrote from the New Testament where that verse was fulfilled or partially fulfilled. And now I'm working on Psalm 78. So there's the watercolors, and I'm not prepping the pages. The paint is not going through to the other side. I've never been a prepper, which means I do not put white or clear gesso on my pages. I don't. Never did. Probably never will. But so I'm just getting color down. You do not need to be any sort of artist to do what I just did with that paint, right? But what it does is, well, it gets you from going from a clear, like a blank page, to at least having something on it, and then you can build it from there. And I knew I wanted to use both of these stickers from this kit, from the On the Road kit. And yeah, and so I got those on there along with that tab that also came in the kit. And all I'm writing on there is Psalm 78. And this psalm I read this morning as I'm reading through the Bible in a year. And it was just so obvious to me that this psalm is almost like a summary of the Old Testament. And, I've read the psalm before, I've read the Bible before, and, but this morning it was just screaming out to me that this is very reflective of just everything in the Old Testament. And so that's what I wanted to document on here was, what I felt it was saying. So I'm just writing here my thoughts, just on how God took care of his people and at times also allowed them to struggle, right? And that the people sometimes plain old forgot about God, and that ultimately, that God keeps his promises, and his promise to Abraham that he was that he would be the father of many nations. And, he always brought his people back to Judah. And this day and age, they're still fighting for their land. But you know what? God always keeps his promises. So we always have to keep that in mind. And that's basically what I wrote down here, is just my thoughts on what I felt when I was reading that psalm. And so I'm hoping that this will encourage you to get out your Bible and get some color down on the page. Whether you have stickers or not, it doesn't matter. I did a lot of writing for both of these psalms, and just get writing. Just get writing. And I'm just going to share a couple quick pics with you here, and I hope that this encourages you to get your Bible out and be creative. God bless everybody. Bye-bye.